All right, guys, on our last solo episode, we talked about why in the world LinkedIn today. Today, we're going to be diving into the second part of my recent workshop, which is really addressing what I call buyer persona, the avatar, your ideal client. You choose the word, but I'm walking you through the different types of demographics, mindset, and user of the LinkedIn platform versus Facebook and Instagram. The thing is, LinkedIn has changed. And I want you to take a listen to the demographics and mindset, again, that are hanging out over on Instagram and Facebook comparatively to LinkedIn. And as you listen to this episode, I want you to have your end buyer persona in mind, the person you are trying to market and sell your products and services to, and ask yourself which platform sounds like it's ideal for my audience. Because here's the thing. Some of you are going to listen to this and you're going to be like, no, I'm definitely dead on. Instagram is where I need to be. But some of you are going to listen to this and your mind is going to be blown and you are going to run to the LinkedIn platform because you're going to be like, my people have been here all this time. I've been barking up the wrong tree. So take a listen, take notes, and I hope you guys enjoy. Hey friend, Melissa Hinault here with the Burnout to All Out podcast. I'm a former multiple six-figure executive corporate burnout, feeling stuck in the life I built for myself. But using my corporate skills, I took to the internet and have built multiple 6- and 7-figure businesses, showing others how they can build a life they love. Now, on this podcast, I share stories of being an entrepreneur, a mom to my 3 amazing kids, and wife to my wonderful and supportive husband who supports all my wild and crazy dreams. My journey is taking grit and persistence and belief. And believe me, I'm still a work in progress that you may witness in real time, whether it's in our free Burnout to All Out Facebook community, or inside my mastermind, or even in my coaching programs, or maybe just right here on the podcast. I'm laughing and I'm crying with you. I've become a serial entrepreneur with a passion to inspire more burnouts to take the leap of faith and go all out and live out their dreams. Consider me your mentor in your head and on the go. So let's get started. So, number 1, average age. Who can guess the average age as a general conglomerate between Instagram and Facebook? Average age is 21 years old. Now, what is the average age on LinkedIn? Average. It's 35. So you have to ask yourself, who is my ideal buyer persona? Okay. Now, one can argue, well, Facebook and Instagram have so many more users. That's why there's such a big spread. Correct. But I'd rather be laser focused on where my ideal client is without the noise. So for me, my ideal client is an online business owner, right? Who's probably over the age of 30, depending on my business, whether it's our academy or our agency, is a different level of client and their experience in their business and revenue, right? So knowing the demographic and age group is really important. Number 2, average income. Who knows the average income of the Facebook and Instagram user? So the average income for Facebook and Instagram is 23, approximately 23, with the most recent data that I looked up. Now, what's the average income for LinkedIn? Yeah, it's higher. It's $100,000 per head. Okay. So how many of you have a high ticket offer? How many of you would like less cost objections? So when I pivoted to LinkedIn, the amount of cost objections like literally plummeted to the ground. Now you get time objections because people are busy showing up and getting shit done, right? But the cost objections nearly disappear. Okay. Now, depending on your price point, right, you've got to get into your value and their need and your ability to close the gap and be a solution for them and a solution-based business, whatever it is, right? So why does this matter? It may or may not matter for you. I don't know what your price point is. I don't know what your service is, right? But whether you're in real estate, financial services, whether you're a coach or product based, you have the opportunity on this platform to know that the average customer or user of the platform makes over $100,000 a year. Okay. Now, let's get into mindset because this one is good. Now, I want you guys to be honest, and this is going to be fun. I want you just off the cuff. Of course, you're here, so you're curious about LinkedIn, right? But what is your knee-jerk word, term, thought when you hear the word LinkedIn? When you think about LinkedIn and you think about the average user, boring. Yeah. Who's got a really boring feed right now? You're like, how do people make money over here? It's so boring, right? Okay. This is my tough love. If your feed is boring, that's on you because you haven't grown a good network. When you get really strategic and know who you want to attract and start bringing them into your feed is so energetic and so fun and polite. And it's a great place to learn, right? But we have to know how to nurture and grow that audience. I just need to make it more welcoming. Yes, business friendship. Okay, snoozer. Thank you. Be honest, right? Before I leaned into LinkedIn, it was full of a lot of 50 to 60-year-old white males in business suits in corporate America, specifically pharma or pharmacy, because I came from the pharmaceutical industry and I came from a doctorate in pharmacy. My feed was a snooze fest. Then I got to work strategically growing my network with key terms like women and founder and CEO and business. And I got to work knowing who I was looking for and engaging with them. And all of a sudden the magic started to happen. You guys, LinkedIn is not the LinkedIn a decade ago. Again, any of you guys know Gary Vaynerchuk? Because I love him and his content is amazing. Yes. And he says this all the time. LinkedIn, first of all, LinkedIn is not the LinkedIn it was a decade ago. And the number one most employable demographic right now is the Gen X, right? So what's happening is how people use social media has changed how people use LinkedIn because of the most employable demographic on LinkedIn right now. It's changed the way the platform is used and how people engage. And it's up to you who's actually in your feed. But people, especially post-pandemic, post a lot of political nastiness on the other platforms that a lot of people have left. I mean, maybe some of you are already gone from Facebook, right? Some of you have totally aborted ship. And so what we have found is that LinkedIn is like a haven of professional, but nice, kind people who are there to network and to grow and have trustworthy news and connections. And people aren't just there to look for a job. I cannot underscore that enough. If you strategically grow your network with the right group, they're not just there to look for a job. They're there for personal and professional growth. They're there for networking, which is why the engagement is through the roof on the platform right now. And if you're in business, it's the number one business to business platform. If you're in business, you should have a profile, right? Because when people look you up, it's going to show up in SEO for Google, right? Okay. So why do people go to Instagram and Facebook? Megan said, I always thought people went there just to look for a job. And we're going to get into that with content in a day or two, because your mindset about jobs and people using it to look for jobs is inhibiting you from marketing yourself appropriately as the solutions-based business owner that you actually are, right? So people are mindlessly scrolling on Instagram and Facebook. How many of you as business owners, when you've got 2 minutes between calls or to kill, what do? You go check your likes and your comments. You want a dopamine hit. You're actually zoning out from what's important. You're zoning out and killing time. right? You're looking for that dopamine hit. You're also maybe there to connect with friends and family and be nosy. Maybe you've got an ex you're stalking. I don't know. But people use those platforms for very different reasons than they use LinkedIn. And this is very important when it comes to marketing. This is why our clients are winning, because we know the psychology of the platforms and how to market on them. People go to Instagram and Facebook to zone out, you included, most likely, unless you're in there as the business owner checking up on things because you're running your business there. I want you thinking like the end consumer, the average person. They're there to zone out, right? LinkedIn, people go there to take action. People go there to strategically network. People are looking for networking opportunities. I can't tell you how many of our clients, and you'll hear from some of them, are landing appearances on podcasts, in books, writing in chapters, being interviewed in different masterminds, getting massive visibility for their businesses by being active on the platform and networking with the right people. Sometimes it'll be a transaction literally in the DMs, but many times it's networking with the right influencers who get you in front of the right people who generate the leads for your business. And that's the piece so many digital CEOs have not realized, but not you. You're here, right? And you know the massive opportunity to network, to get in front of the right communities, to be seen, to serve, right? Okay. So people go to LinkedIn because they're there for professional and personal growth, but also it's trustworthy, right? It's trustworthy. Now, the next thing I want you to think about is when we think about mindset, the next thing I want to get to, it kind of folds in together, is the device that is actually used. Most people who have a LinkedIn account also have a Facebook and Instagram account. But humor me this, where they are in their mindset, device, and all the things makes a huge difference in how your content is received or even seen because of their mindset, where they are, and the noise that's cluttered in the feed. Okay. The number one device that's used for Facebook and Instagram, what is it? It's the phone. So what do we know about the phone? I see many of your beautiful faces right now. Most of you are probably on your computer. You're sitting, you're paying attention, and you're locked in with your ass in a chair. Or maybe you're at a standing desk like me, but I've got your undivided attention. Those of you, as I scroll over where I can't see your beautiful faces, oh, look, page 2, I see a bunch of beautiful faces too. I get to page 3, I don't see anybody's face. Page 4, page 5. Many of you are on your phones, and maybe you're at work. Maybe you're in a commute. Maybe you're grocery shopping. Maybe you're taking care of your kids. I don't know. But what I know is the psychology behind being distracted in the device you're on, right? So what's interesting is what's the number one device that people use on LinkedIn? It's the desktop. Okay. This all goes together full circle. So just follow me on this for a minute. Okay. When you're sitting in front of your computer and you're at a desktop, you are much less distracted. Okay. Most people, it's bad hygiene, but we all do it. Most people, like their alarm goes off in the morning, it's their phone, right? The first thing they do, they're like wiping sleep out of their eye and they're checking their feed. They're sitting on the toilet. They're making their coffee, right? Is that the time to be selling somebody something, right? Is that the time that you really want your message in their feed? By the way, cluttered with everyone else trying to sell shit on those platforms? No, right? Same message, totally different environment. Now I have a cup of coffee. I'm sitting at my computer. I've showered. I've seen my kids out the door. Maybe I'm at my office. I've caught up on my emails. Now I'm taking a break because I want to go network professionally on LinkedIn and catch up on some things. And you have my undivided attention with, by the way, way little noise. We'll talk about that in a second. Nobody else has the same message you do on the platform. No one else is the authority in what you do on the platform. And all of a sudden, lo and behold, your content is right in front of my face while I'm drinking my coffee. And I'm like, they are talking to me. That is exactly how I feel, or that's exactly what I need. Totally different environment, totally different reception energetically. Is that making sense to you guys? Right? You're a little more organized on front of your computer versus maybe you're at a stoplight at your phone. Who like scrolls at a stoplight, right? No, Renee says no, that's bad. Okay, so my point here is that your mindset and is very much related to the device you're on, where you are in your day, and why or what you're on the platform for, right? Now, what I didn't hit on, and we'll talk about algorithms, I was going to get into that next, but the bottom line is, do you guys want to guess what percent, even though LinkedIn has had its highest year in revenue yet, highest number of users yet, what percent of users on the platform actually post content? This is going to blow your mind. 4. Yes, my friends. 4% of users post content, which means there's all these bodies hyperactive on the platform, but they don't know how to post content, or they're scared to post content. They don't know how to post content, but they're over there networking. I say this all the time. You can be consistent on any platform and be successful. It's just the difference in definition of consistency. The definition of consistency on Instagram is 3 reels a day and 18 to 24 stories. So if you want to lip sync and you want to dance and you want 18 to 24 stories a day, you're in the market to compete. That's consistent. On LinkedIn, consistency is maybe 3 to 4 posts a week that provide value. You're not competing with the masses. There isn't the noise. Is this making sense? Okay. So I hope some of you, there's like fire on your head, just like, oh my God, I just need to get consistent with my content. Yes. And you need to grow your network. You can't have a dead audience. Your content could be dead on, but if you've got a dead audience, you're not going to be successful. Okay. Search engine. Did you know that LinkedIn was actually originally designed as a search engine? Oh my God. It's Pandora's box. When you learn how to use what we call Boolean modifiers, you can fine tune specifically like a ninja who you want to manifest into your network. You can't do that on the other platforms. You just can't, right? The organic reach through the roof. Once you get really savvy with LinkedIn versus Instagram, you can make the same post on both pages and your mind will be blown the amount of engagement on the same post on LinkedIn versus the other. Now, the caveat is, have you worked to grow a network that will engage? So don't tell me you made the post and there was no engagement if you haven't done the work to grow the network like you have on the other platforms. Does that make sense? Your ROI on LinkedIn is a no-brainer. Your ROI for the content you put out, no-brainer, right? Okay, so organic reach is through the roof. If you go up another level and instead of making a static post, which only 4% of people do, but you go live, mind blown with visibility.
Thanks for listening to the Burnout to All Out podcast. For free resources, materials, or information on my coaching services, go ahead over to livethefreelife.co. That's livethefreelife.co. Or check out our Facebook community at Burnout to All Out, and make sure you follow Burnout to All Out on Spotify and subscribe to iTunes. And it would truly mean the world to me if you paused for just a second, gave me that 5-star review of the show, and be sure to share this episode with any burnouts you think would be inspired to go all out after hearing this episode.